What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon NBA DFS video. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. We're through half of the week. It is March 13th, and we are back with another video. 7 games on this main slate. We're going to break it down, hopefully, like no other channel does. We give you a player pool. We give you a lot of things. If you need a little bit more help, we do have FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We've got FTA Plus, $24.99 a month, DFS plus sports betting. We've been killing it in sports betting lately. If you haven't, go check it out. 2 coupon codes. We've got a couple left. MLB is right around the corner. We've got the Dodgers Padres starting next week. Then we have the rest of the real season starting the week after that. So we currently have a yearly pass, normally $199. Use the promo code MLBVIP. MLB VIP will get you 1 year for $75 instead of $199. So if you've been on the fence about it, ask some people in the comments down here. $199, use promo code MLB VIP, get it for $75. That includes the entire MLB season, the entire rest of the NASCAR season, this NBA season, and first 1.5, well, next year, all the way up until today for NBA. The entire NFL season, PGA season. If we bring MMA back, that's where we're at. So, that being said, kind of been asking, I want to start a question of the day. So, this will get you guys engaged because we have 2 giveaways. Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment for the comment picker. If we get 50 likes on a video, someone will win a free week. 100 likes, someone wins a free month. 125 likes, a free year, and 150 or more likes, someone will win a free lifetime pass worth $500. The other way, like the video, be a subscriber, and tell me who is going to score the most amount of fantasy points on DraftKings today, and how many fantasy points will they score. So, someone who gets it closest without going over, Price is Right rules, will win a free week. If you get it exactly correct, you will win. No one has yet. They've come real close. You will win a free yearly pass, and you can combine them. So if we get 50 likes on this video, well, let's say we get 125 likes on this video, and someone gets the exact DraftKings fantasy points correct, you will win 2 years for absolutely free. So, question of the day has nothing to do with sports. I am in the market for a new flavor of coffee. Not hugely a dark drink. Like, I don't want like a very strong coffee, but I am looking to branch out and get new coffee. So this can be your question of the day, or this can be your comment on my video. What coffee do you guys prefer me use? Or do you prefer that I could try? So that being said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the Vegas odds. Then, and people like this yesterday, and it seemed like it worked out yesterday with most of the plays. We're going to give you the top 5 players at each position for tournaments. Scoring-wise, projection-wise, that's what we're going to do. In the description of this video is today's article, which has 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. Those value picks will change throughout the day once more value opens up. If you have questions about anything else, let me know. If you're excited for MLB, let me know. I am also thinking of putting together a bracket on ESPN or Yahoo for March Madness. Probably $20 a person. Probably top 3 places paid depending on how many people we get. Would obviously love to get at least 10 people. The more the merrier. So if you guys would like to get into a March Madness bracket, let me know, and also email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp1@gmail.com, and I will see if we get enough interest. Obviously, we have about a week, a little bit to get into it. So if you guys are interested in March Madness bracket, let me know down below and email me. So nobody got the correct high score yesterday. It was a surprise. Surprise, surprise. It was Josh Hart. Josh Hart went off for 67.25 on the main slate. A lot of people were on Giannis. He got 53. A lot of people were on Sabonis like me. He got 51. So not a ton going down. But again, that's what's awesome about this. It is anything can happen. Josh Hart was not on anyone's radar to score the most amount of fantasy points. And that's how the cookie crumbles. So looking at the odds, we've got a total of 9 games, but we can only play 7. These Vegas odds will change a little bit. So we've got Brooklyn and Orlando at 206. Toronto, Detroit at 233. Want to get exposure there. Chicago, Indiana, 229.5. Indiana, we get exposure there. Denver versus Miami, 215. Charlotte versus Memphis, 205. Cleveland versus New Orleans, 216.5. And Golden State versus Dallas, 233.5 right there. Then we look at the money line, or the spread. We've got currently Orlando is a 7-point favorite. Detroit, which is nuts. Detroit has now had 2 straight games of being the favorite. They are right now at -3. Chicago, Indiana being a 4-point favorite. Denver versus Miami, Denver being a 4-point favorite. Charlotte versus Memphis, 2 bad teams like we've had just in the past. Charlotte being a 1-point favorite. Cleveland versus New Orleans, 7-point favorite. And Dallas versus Golden State, Dallas being a 7-point favorite. So, just kind of looking, Ball is out, Curry is out, Hero is out, Quickly is questionable, Mitchell's questionable. Like, all these big names are questionable right now. A lot of questionable guys. Barrett, Mobley are out. Tyler Hero, like I said. Vince Williams Jr. This will open up value throughout the day, and that is what we try to do. So, people want to know about core plays, that like our 4 or 5 core plays, 3 or 4, whatever it is. In our Discord channel, which the link is in the description, that will be down below. About an hour or 2 before tip-off, I give out core plays for Fanduel and DraftKings, so join the Discord channel. Let's get it popping. I want it popping for MLB. We've also partnered up with DFS Hero. If you have not checked out DFS Hero, in the link down below in the description of this, if you use our sign-up link, you will sign up, you'll get 15% off your first deposit, and on top of that, if you get a monthly pass from them, we will give you a free month of DFS content at FTA+, Fantasy Team Advisors. If you get a year from DFS Hero, we will give you a free year on top of that. So they have an awesome optimizer. I cannot afford to build my own optimizer and run it every single day, but we have partnered up with them. So take what we give you, mix and match. Don't just take their optimizer and hit calculate and that's it. You need to tweak it a little bit. You need to be a little bit different, but we've been killing it with our information plugged into their awesome optimizer. So definitely check that out if you want. So like I said, going through the plays, we are going to give you the top 5 at each position, and then we will build a lineup on FanDuel and DraftKings using one of our tools, the NBA points allowed by position tool. So our number 1 GPP pick, I love Cade Cunningham here in this matchup for Detroit being a number 1 or a second time they are a favorite. I've got him number 1 just due to value and DVP. Obviously, everyone's going to be on Luka. Luka is dominating right now. So if you watched the video 2 days ago, I said Luka had a streak of 6, I think it was 6 straight games of 30+ points in triple doubles. I said if you are betting, do not, I had a feeling, do not bet 30+ points, and if you could, in a triple-double. And he went off, he had 27 points, so the streak was broken. He's absolutely killing it. Luka has 70+ last like 6 or 7 games, but he is very expensive. He's $12,800 on DraftKings. So it's very hard to use him unless we find value, which value will open up throughout the day. That is why I tell you, definitely check out what we have to offer on the site, because this might help you out a little bit, but the website probably helps you out a little bit more. Number 3 is Terry Rozier. I love him here in this game against Denver. He's getting a little expensive at $7,100 on DraftKings. His DVP is 11. So again, this is what I'm kind of telling you. If you're new to the channel, do not look at these numbers. The red would mean stay away, but again, Luka is matchup proof. These numbers don't match up. So if we look at this, they don't always match up for the most part. Rozier 7th here. He's actually 11th DVP. So he actually has a little bit better value than what you would see here. Number 4 is Jamal Murray. I love Jamal Murray here. We've been using him against Denver, or for Denver, even with Jokic in there, and he's scoring 94 last time. Absolutely love Jamal Murray. And then we've got Jaden Ivey rounding out the top 5 in this game for Detroit against Miami, Detroit versus Toronto, 24th DVP. Jaden Ivey is 6,100, so you will save some value here to pay up for other positions if you want. Shooting guard, number 1, I love Vince Williams if he's in. I'm trying to see if Vince Williams has any ruled out Tuesday. So he was ruled out last week, or yesterday. Again, this is definitely some. This is one where I like his matchup, but 6,700 and it's a knee. Watch this. So we got to wait for news to come out. I would not be surprised if he is ruled out later on today. As of the making of the video, he is not. Another one just for a little bit of salary saving right now, Trey Murphy III. Number 4, love me a little bit of Tim Hardaway Jr. He's got the best DVP matchup for shooting guard. It depends if he's going to get those minutes, though. And again, we've been on this Duncan Robinson train. Duncan Robinson against Denver, 5,500, a cheaper option to round out shooting guard. But if you're kind of looking other ways, I don't mind Alex Caruso. I don't mind Aaron Naismith, Cam Thomas if he's in there. I don't mind these guys. But again, on our cheat sheet, let me show you what our cheat sheet is. This is every single day, cash and tournament plays. So just kind of looking what you can see for FTA Plus, we've got our cash plays here, our tournament plays here, anywhere between 6 to 8 different, or at each position for cash and tournaments. We got leverage plays to help you build those lineups and save a little bit of money as well. So this is a great player pool. So this is yesterday, obviously. This is a great player pool. We've got that on top of all the information we give here. So that's one of them. We've got DK tiers for here, if you guys play DK tiers. We got Fanduel and DraftKings lineups. If you guys, this is a great starting point, but again, remember, use this as a starting point. Don't just copy paste. Use our information. Use DFS Hero if you guys are using it, and hopefully it all helps you out. Yesterday was crazy because sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it takes 350 to min cash, but last night some of our lineups 280 cashed. It was really crazy. Just one of those nights where the scoring was a little bit lower than we're kind of used to. So that being said, moving on to small forward players. Let's see, our little Fonte boy. We've been using him all the time. Now again, he still hasn't gone up in price, which is kind of crazy. Look at these. Look at these. So he's gone up. Okay, but he's coming off back-to-back 2 really good games. We used him in both of those games. Now he has a great matchup against Toronto. We look at this. He has 19th DVP. He's only 5,100. This is a huge value play for me. In a game where it should stay relatively close and Detroit's actually favored, we've got 30-plus minutes out of him most likely. So, and I'm not gonna jinx it. Absolutely love me some Fonte here. We've been using him. If you've been around, you know that. I've got him number 1 right now for small forward. Second one, Jaime Jr. So 5,200. So we look at this. He's 7th DVP, so not the best DVP, but game log wise, the minutes have kind of been there. His price, I'm okay with it. Again, tournament wise, you're looking for 7, 7.5, 8 times, or cash 7.5. The minimum would be about 7.5 times value, meaning every single lineup or player in your lineup needs 7.5 to feel confident about that target. So 5,200 times 7.5. Tournament wise, you're looking for 8, 8.5 or more. You're not going to get that from everybody, but you're going to find value. So let's say you have Luke at 12,000. He's not going to get that. He's not going to, most likely not going to get 100 fantasy points. But you find those value, you find those $3,500 players that get 10 times value, that equals out. So I got Fonte number 1, Jaquez number 2, Pascal at number 3, DeMar DeRozan in this game. I love DeMar in this. Let's take some Chicago players against Indiana because Indiana has a high-paced game, usually high-scoring game, and we want to take both sides of that ball. I've got him. I've got Andrew Wiggins at Detroit or at Dallas. Wiggins has the best DVP at 30, and then a little bit of value here. Bruce Brown Jr. And then if you want to go a little bit lower for tournaments, Derrick Jones Jr. is 3,800 versus Golden State, but he's going up against the best defense against the small forward. So Derrick Jones would be a value option, but he most likely will not hit. Power forward, Isaiah Stewart going up against Toronto, 20 DVP. PJ Washington against Golden State has the 17th DVP against him. Aaron Gordon against Miami, not the best. We're at 6th DVP right now, but we'll look. Oscar Thompson is questionable. Let's see if he has been ruled out yet. But he's got a good matchup here. Illness or asthma. So, again, yeah, that would be hard to run up and down the court. But game log-wise, he got, didn't do much here because he didn't play. So if he plays, because he's coming off, it's been a minute. It's been 4 days. And he only played 11 minutes in that game. So if he plays in this game, Oscar Thompson here. Love me some Oscar Thompson against Toronto, 21st DVP. Caleb Martin against Denver, not bad. Zion, again, he's a little bit expensive, but he's there. And then Jalen Smith is 4,000 for Indy going up against Chicago with the 27th DVP against the power forward. Then we move to the center position, and we can look at this. You want some value option here. Daniel Gafford at 5,000 versus Golden State. Don't mind that at 17th DVP. Jalen Duren in this matchup where they're supposed to win. 20th DVP. Valanciunas here, 7th DVP. So not the best, but going up against Cleveland. 4 is Miles Turner versus Chicago. Chicago is the 27th DVP. So they are not the best against the center position. And then I'm looking a little bit at Nick Richards. So Nick Richards for Charlotte. We used him. I believe they just played Memphis, right? No, they didn't. Nick Richards coming off 3 straight 30-plus games, still under 6K. I'm looking at him at 5,700 to allow us to pay up at other positions. So those are some of the plays that we like. Top 5s, top 6, top 7s, whatever I put out there. Again, on top of this, I will have value. I will have projections in the article down below, and we will have our cheat sheet with even more plays going on. So let's build a lineup real quick. Not the only way to do it, one way to do it. Some people like it, some people don't. If you do, let me know. If you don't, we're here for you anyway, but that's what we're going to do. So we don't have Phoenix. They're not there. They're not playing today. We don't have Utah playing today. San Antonio's not playing today. That brings us to Washington. Washington is not playing today. So we come down to Detroit. Detroit gives up 54.2 fantasy points to the opposing point guards on this. So come to Toronto, go to point guard, Emmanuel Quickley. He's questionable. With a hip. Didn't play Monday. Hasn't played in 4 days. If he plays, Emmanuel Quickley is good to go. But if he's not playing, I'm looking at Bruce Brown, 5,100. A great matchup coming off 38 minutes, 31 fantasy points. Cheaper option. This is one of those where cheap options will open up throughout the day. So this is one that I talk about. So then we go to the shooting guard position. We look at this. Washington's not playing. Atlanta's not playing. Utah is not playing. Dallas is playing. Dallas gives up an average of 46.2 fantasy points to the opposing shooting guard. So we go back to DraftKings. We go to Dallas, which is right here. Golden State, shooting guard. Klay Thompson, Podziemski, Moses Moody. Depends on where you want to find this value. Klay Thompson has been so inconsistent this year, but he's coming off 3 straight 30-plus games. Again, that's not even 6 times value. We're kind of looking at about 7.5 times value. That's what we're looking at. Looking at this against Dallas, seeing if they've played Dallas this year. I might have missed it. There it is. 12/30th, 7. Played 26 minutes. I just don't trust Klay enough. We look at Podziemski. We look at his. He's, price is there. A little bit weary here. Again, this is a tournament lineup. Moses Moody. The minutes. Yeah. The minutes weren't there for whatever reason. He was supposed to play. He did have a knee problem. It looks like he's good to go today. Maybe he gets more minutes. If he gets more minutes, I do like what he brings to the table at 5,000. So another value option there. Again, this is not the only way to do it. This is not the only players to use. These are one tool of many tools we have at Fantasy Team Advisors. So we look at this. Washington, Utah. Toronto gives up an average of 48.9. 48.9 is what we're looking at, okay? So that would bring us to Detroit. Detroit, Oscar Thompson, or Fonte. My boy Fonte, I'm bringing Fonte in here. Now, look at this lineup. This is a very this is mid-tier pricing. Almost on the low end of pricing. So these three different teams, different games, we're getting exposure. 6,900 is what we can average the rest of the way. Obviously, we can pay up at other positions. So, we look at power forward, Utah, Chicago. Chicago gives up an average of 51.9 fantasy points to the power forward position. That's Indy. We're looking at Indy. That's Pascal. We could be looking at Jalen, who's, depends on where he plays. But Pascal here, we look at this. I'm going to go with him. That's our first big splash at 7,200. So then at center position. Just kind of looking at the teams that gives up the most. Portland is third, but they are not playing, right? Yeah, they're not playing. Oops. So Washington's not playing. San Antonio, Portland, there. Charlotte. Charlotte is giving up an average of 56.9 fantasy points to the opposing point guard, or to the opposing center. So we go to Charlotte. We know that they're playing Memphis. We know there's a lot of questionable tags here. Jaren Jackson was out yesterday. Yeah, so last time he played was 3 days ago. He played 28 minutes there for 23 fantasy points. He was ruled out yesterday. Maybe they're ruling him out for the first game of a back-to-back. So this is why this lineup could change a little bit. Don't think we're kind of waiting on news for him. Stevens here, adductor, is out for Tuesday. Again, I don't know if he's going to play. You got Trey Jameson, who a lot of people were on yesterday. We were as well in one of our lineups. 34 fantasy points. Again, it's a back-to-back. He played 31 minutes. I'm going to put Trey Jameson in there as of now. But again, if Jaren's back, that would take Jameson out of this lineup here. So we look at guard the rest of the way. So if we did Luka at 12,000, we can now average a forward at 5,200 and a utility at 5,200. So if we are just looking at a forward value-wise, just kind of looking, we've already got Bruce Brown in there. We've got Fonte in there. Just kind of looking other ones. This is one that we were looking at. Isaiah Stewart I mentioned against Toronto. Game logs been okay. The minutes have been there, but he's got a good matchup here. So Isaiah Stewart has the 20th DVP, so I don't mind him. And now we can average a utility at 5,500. And this is just because we paid up here. So depending on what you want to go with, 5,500 wise, we could be looking at kind of looking at the list here. We've got him. Trying to find that value. We've got Stewart. I don't mind some of these plays, but again, with tournaments, you got to get leverage. So you got to find that leverage on those players. You got to find ones that have a good price but are also leveraged out where we could see X amount of players that we need a little bit under-owned here. I don't mind some of these. Again, Oscar Thompson, well, no, he's 5,600, so we cannot afford him. P.J. Washington's one. We could look at P.J. Washington against Golden State. Not the best matchups here. He hasn't been the best lately. Golden State to... That's one that we could look at. Duncan Robinson's another one that we've been using a lot. We look at Duncan Robinson. We look at his DVP. It's 11, so not the best. Kind of 2 games off that were not the best. We used Luke Kennard yesterday, but we could use him again today against Charlotte. Coming off 32.5 fantasy points yesterday. I'm going to go with Luke Kennard. So this is just one lineup. This is a tournament lineup. This is not the only lineup. Again, things could change in this lineup. This is definitely a fluid situation, but we're going to lock that one in. Then we're going to do the exact same thing here for FanDuel. Okay. We're looking at FanDuel real quick. We're going to go point guard. So you do 2 at each position, so it's a little bit different. So we're looking at Detroit giving up 53.1. So again, a lot of it's going to be the same, but it might change a little bit. So Toronto, quickly, probably not there. Javon Freeman Liberty, we used him the other day. He allowed us, so we were able to cash every single lineup that he was in because he was cheap. Only got 7.2 fantasy points. So he's going to be a cheap option today. There's not much coming out. This might be one where you just throw in a cheap option because you're hoping. But I might stay away from this one right now. So we'd go Milwaukee's not playing, Charlotte is playing. So we're looking at Memphis. So Memphis players here, Jordan Goodwin, if he plays, if he gets those minutes, that's what we're looking for, 32 minutes. Yesterday, again, this is the second game of a back-to-back, but 5,300, I'm okay with that. Then we kind of look Lakers, Portland, Orlando, Memphis. So, same side. We look at this, Charlotte. So, he's been pretty good, 6,000. His price is getting up there. It is jumping up. But we'll use him. Again, this is a tournament-only lineup. You got to get a little bit creative when you build this. Shooting guard-wise, nope. Detroit. So we look at who is Detroit facing. That's Toronto. Then we look at kind of the same thing. If Gary Trent is in there, he's questionable with a groin. I don't trust him enough to be able to do that. Grady Dick. Now, Grady would be a good option if Gary's out. Again, we used him the other day. 37.3 fantasy points. I will look at him. Then you come down the list. You look at Golden State. So Golden State is playing Dallas for shooting guard. Kyrie, little expensive. Has underperformed at that price. He is priced up. They have Kyrie priced as prime Kyrie, and I can't right now. So Kyrie's there. Tim Hardaway, again, is a little cheaper, 4,900. I love Tim Hardaway there. So we move to the small forward position. We go here. Washington, Utah, Toronto. So Detroit. So we got Detroit here. I want Fonte. He's going to be in all of my lineups. We've got Detroit there. Golden State. So then it's Dallas again. So we're looking at Hardaway. We've already got Josh Green. We used him the other day. Kind of let us down. So I'd go to the next one. You'd look at, and the way you look at this, so Indiana, you want to get exposure to this Indiana game because of Chicago. DeMar DeRozan, we've already talked about. We can still average 8,000 the rest of the way. So let's just jump to the center position and see what we feel confident about here first when you're building it out. So, obviously, Jokic, if you want to pay it for Jokic, without doing DVP, we know he's coming off 95.4 fantasy points. Had a really big day. That would take half of our money out. We still average 8,000, so you're still looking at Vucevic here. I don't mind him. We can still go 7,900 for power forward. So let's go power forward here. Build this lineup out. Utah, Chicago. So Chicago gives up the second most, which we're looking at Indiana for power forward. So Pascal at 7,800 is exactly what we need. Then our power forward at 8,100 allows us Brandon Ingram and down. So Kuminga has a matchup I'd look at. We looked at Michael Porter the other day. If you want, you don't have to use all of your salary, by the way. Olenek against Detroit. I don't mind Olenek against Detroit. 7,800 or 6,800 allows 1,300 moving. So let's say you don't want Grady Dick. You want to use some of yours. So 6,500 for a shooting guard brings us right around Podziemski. Dosunmu. I actually like Dosunmu because he's got a great matchup here. That's what I would use. So I'm going to lock that lineup in. That is just one way we build a lineup, not the only way to build a lineup, and hopefully it helped you out. So that's what I've got in this video. If you got questions, comments, concerns, get it down below. Go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Don't forget MLB VIP. Use that promo code, all one word, all capital letters. Get a yearly pass for all of the sports for $75 instead of $199. That's what I've got. Good luck today, and as always, let's bring home that bacon. Peace!